Have you ever felt like a place was watching you? Like the walls held secrets, and the floors remembered footsteps long since gone? Let's talk about a story that might make you check your own address. It takes place in the heart of New York City, on a cool spring evening, April 2nd, 2019. Our story is about a guy named Leo. Leo was just like any of us, chasing a dream in the big city. After months of searching, he finally found it, the perfect apartment. It wasn't a penthouse, it wasn't a sprawling loft, but it was his. Apartment 14B. The moment he stepped inside, he felt a sense of calm wash over him. It was a cozy little studio, with a big window that looked out onto the city's twinkling lights. The rent was a steal. The building was pre-war, with that classic New York charm, and the neighbors so quiet, he never heard a peep. For the first time in a long time, Leo felt like he could finally breathe. He thought, this is it. This is home. The first week was pure bliss. Leo unpacked his life into the cozy corners of 14B. He arranged his books on the built-in shelves, hung his favorite band posters, and even bought a small plant for the windowsill. The apartment seemed to welcome him. The old radiator hissed a comforting tune at night, and the morning sun filled the room with a warm, golden glow. He'd come home from his long days at work, exhausted but happy, and the moment he'd closed the door to 14B behind him, the stress of the city would just melt away. It was his sanctuary, a silent, peaceful haven suspended high above the chaos of the streets below. He even joked to his friends on the phone, "My neighbors must be monks or something. I've literally never heard a single sound." It was perfect. Almost too perfect. The strange thing, the first little crack in his perfect new life, happened on a Saturday. Leo was heading out to grab some groceries. As he stepped into the elevator, a neighbor, a friendly-looking older woman with a small dog, got in with him. She smiled and asked, "You new here? I haven't seen you before." Leo smiled back. "Yeah, just moved in last week. I'm in 14B." The woman's smile faltered. A look of confusion flickered across her face. 14B, she repeated, her voice a little shaky. "That's odd. This building doesn't have a 14th floor." Leo just laughed it off. "Oh, you know how these old buildings are," he said. "The elevator buttons are probably just weird. Mine says 14. The elevator doors opened on the lobby, and the woman hurried out, casting a worried glance back at him before she disappeared. Leo shrugged. Weird old lady, he thought. He didn't give it another thought. But her words lingered in the back of his mind. Later that night, curiosity got the better of him. He decided to take the stairs, just to see for himself. He climbed past the 10th floor, the 11th, the 12th, and then he was on the 15th floor landing. He stopped, his heart pounding in his chest. He went back down, 15, then 12. He went up again, slower this time, counting each step, each landing. There was number 14th floor. The stairwell jumped directly from the 13th floor landing to the 15th. A cold dread, heavy and suffocating, started to creep up his spine. It made no sense. He lived on the 14th floor. He had a key to a door on the 14th floor. How could it not exist? He sprinted back to the elevator, his hands trembling as he pressed the button. When it arrived, he looked at the panel. The buttons went 1, 2, 3, all the way to 12, then skipped straight to 15. The button for the 14th floor, the one he'd pressed every day for a week, was gone. It wasn't just broken or covered up. The metal plate was seamless, as if a 14th floor had never, ever been an option. Panic set in. He felt a desperate need to get back to his apartment, to prove to himself he wasn't going crazy. He jabbed the button for the 15th floor, figuring he could take the stairs down one flight to the floor that wasn't there. When the elevator doors opened on the 15th floor, he ran to the stairwell door and scrambled down the flight of stairs. He landed on a floor that felt ... different. The air was colder, and a strange silence pressed in on him. He looked down the hallway. It was his hallway. There was the same worn carpet, the same dim lighting, and there, at the very end of the hall, was his door. But something was wrong. He walked toward it, his footsteps echoing in the unnatural quiet. The numbers on the door, his numbers, 1 to 4B, were faded, barely visible, like a photograph left out in the sun for too long. He fumbled for his keys, his heart hammering against his ribs. He plunged his key into the lock. It wouldn't turn. He tried again, jiggling it, pushing with all his might. Nothing. It was like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It was his key, the one he'd used just this morning. Frantically, he reached into his pocket and pulled out his lease agreement, the crisp paper he'd signed just over a week ago. He needed to see it in black and white. He unfolded it under the dim hallway light. His name was there, the landlord's signature was there, but the apartment number, the space where 14B should have been, was blank. A smooth, empty white space on the paper. It was in that moment that everything began to unravel. He felt a strange, pulling sensation, as if the edges of his own being were starting to fray. He looked down at his hands, and they seemed translucent, the pattern of the carpet visible through his fingers. The colors of the hallway began to fade, draining away into a dull, uniform gray. The solid walls around him shimmered, becoming thin and unsubstantial. He was becoming a ghost, in a hallway that shouldn't exist, outside an apartment that was never there. The last thing he saw before everything went dark was the door in front of him. The faded numbers, 1 to 4B, flickered one last time, and then vanished completely, leaving behind nothing but an old, blank wooden door on a floor that the city had long forgotten. No one ever saw Leo again. His friends called, but the calls went straight to voicemail. His job reported him missing. The police investigated, but there was no trace. It was as if he had simply evaporated. The building's management had no record of a Leo, no record of a lease for 14B. To them, the apartment never existed. But sometimes, on a quiet night, residents on the 15th floor report hearing faint footsteps in the stairwell, or a lonely, confused whisper echoing in the hallway, as if someone is still looking for a home they can't quite remember. It's a chilling reminder that some places have memories of their own, and sometimes they don't just remember. They reclaim. They remember who they once belonged to, and maybe they just want them back. What do you think happened to Leo? Was he a victim of a place caught between worlds, or did he just slip through the cracks of reality? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more mysteries. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there. You never know what secrets the walls around you might be keeping.